Hello everyone, and welcome to the first video in Networking Tips CCNA course here on YouTube. So this video is meant to be an intro to this course where we'll cover key topics, exam topics, and the intended audience for this course. So, taking a look at some of the key topics. First off, this course is intended to be a full start-to-finish program offered here on YouTube 100% free. There will be a series of several videos that cover all of the topics on the official list of Cisco exam topics, including practice questions and practice labs using Cisco tools. Taking a look here at the Cisco CCNA 200-301 version 1.1 exam topics, we first start out with networking fundamentals, moving to network access, IP connectivity, IP services, security fundamentals, and automation and programmability. Now, under each of these topics are several subtopics which we will take a brief look at. Looking under the 1.0 Networking Fundamentals category, this group basically says that you will need to explain the role and function of network concepts, characteristics of network topology architectures, physical interfaces and cabling types, identify interface and cabling issues such as collisions, errors, mismatch duplex, and others, compare TCP and UDP, configure and verify IPv4 addressing and subnetting, describe private IPv4 subnetting, configure and verify IPv4 addressing and prefix, describe IPv6 address types, and verify parameters for client OS such as Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Describing wireless principles, virtualization fundamentals such as server virtualization and containers, and describe switching concepts. So this group encompasses a lot of the initial fundamentals of networking that you would use in anything from a small home network all the way up to large corporate networks. Looking at section 2 here for network access, we will have to learn how to configure and verify VLANs for normal range spanning multiple switches, configuring and verifying inter-switch connectivity, configuring and verifying Layer 2 discovery protocols such as Cisco Discovery Protocol and LLDP, configure and verify Layer 2 and Layer 3 Ether channel, interpret basic operations of rapid PVST plus spanning tree protocols, describe Cisco wireless architecture and AP models, describe physical infrastructure connection of WLAN components such as AP, WLC, access and trunk ports, and LAG. Describe networking device management access such as Telnet, SSH, HTTP, HTTPS, Console, TACUS plus Radius, and cloud management. And finally, we will be looking at interpreting the wireless LAN GUI configuration for client connectivity for WLAN creation, security settings, QoS profile, and other advanced settings. Looking into the third section here for IP connectivity, you'll have to interpret the components of routing tables, determine how routers make forwarding decisions by default, configure and verify IPv4 and IPv6 static routing, configure and verify single area OSPF v2. And you'll also have to describe the purpose, function, and concepts of first hop redundancy protocols. In section 4, we'll be learning about configuring and verifying inside source NAT using static protocols, configuring and verifying NTP operating in a client and server mode, explain the role of DHCP and DNS services within a network, explaining the function of SNMP in a network operation, describe the use of syslog features including facilities and levels, configure and verify DHCP client and relay, explain forward per hop behaviors PHB or for QoS, such as classification, marketing, queuing, congestion, policy, and shaping. And then we'll be looking at configuring network devices for remote access using SSH and describing the capabilities and functions of TFTP and FTP in the network. Looking at section 5, we're looking a little closer at the security fundamentals of a network. This will be defining key concepts such as threats, vulnerabilities, exploits, and mitigation techniques, describing security program elements such as user awareness training and physical access control, configure and verify device access control using local passwords, and describing password policy elements such as management, complexity, and password alternatives such as multi-factor, certificates, and biometrics. You'll have to describe IPsec remote access and site-to-site VPNs, know how to configure and verify access control lists, configure and verify layer 2 switch security features such as DHCP snooping, dynamic ARP inspection, and port security. You'll also compare authentication, authorization, and accounting concepts, as well as describing wireless security protocols such as WPA, WPA2, and WPA3. And finally, in this section, you will configure and verify WLAN within the GUI using WPA2 PSK. And finally, moving on to section 6, automation and programmability. We will be looking at explaining how automation can impact network management, compare this to traditional networks with controller-based networking, describe controller-based networking and software-defined architecture, explaining AI, both generative and predictive, and using machine learning in network operations. Explain characteristics of REST-based APIs, authentication types, CRUD, HTTP verbs, and data encoding, and recognize the capabilities of configuration management mechanisms such as Ansible and Terraform. And finally, you'll have to recognize components of JSON encoded data. Finally, I wanted to take a quick look at who this course is for. So this course is for anyone preparing for the Cisco CCNA 200-301 version 1.1 exam. Now, this is not just if you are preparing to take the exam. Of course, this course will prepare you for the exam, but this is also for anyone who is interested in learning more about computer networking and IT topics. There are very few requirements for this course, with the only one being basic computer knowledge. There is no prior networking or programming knowledge necessary, and we will be covering all of the foundational topics needed to further understand the more complex topics that we discuss throughout this series. So with that being said, I wanted to say thank you for selecting this course. Please make sure to leave any comments with questions down below in the comment section, and ensure that you like this video and subscribe. It does really help out and allow us to provide this whole course for you completely free here on YouTube. So thank you so much, and I look forward to helping you on your journey to the CCNA certification.